The pale blue dot hung suspended in the vastness of space, a fragile oasis of life in an otherwise indifferent cosmos. To its inhabitants, it was simply known as Earth, their home, their cradle, and for millennia, the limit of their existence. But all that was about to change. Dr. Samantha Chen stood before the giant radio telescope, her heart pounding with anticipation. For years, she had scanned the skies, searching for that elusive signal that would prove humanity wasn't alone in the universe. And now, after countless false alarms and disappointments, she had found it. "It's real," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of computers. "We're not alone." The signal was unmistakable, a clear, rhythmic pattern that couldn't be explained by any natural phenomenon. It was coming from a star system nearly 50 light-years away in the constellation Cetus. As news of the discovery spread, the world erupted in a frenzy of excitement, fear, and speculation. Governments scrambled to form response plans, religious leaders sought to reconcile their beliefs with this new reality, and ordinary people looked to the stars with a mixture of hope and trepidation. In the months that followed, Earth's brightest minds worked tirelessly to decode the alien message. It was Dr. Chen who finally cracked it, revealing a simple yet profound invitation. "Greetings, children of Earth. You are not alone. When you are ready, join us among the stars." The message included coordinates for a meeting point just beyond the orbit of Mars, along with instructions for building a device that would allow for instantaneous communication across vast distances. The world's nations, setting aside their differences in the face of this cosmic revelation, pooled their resources to construct humanity's first faster-than-light communication array. It was a monumental undertaking, pushing the limits of human engineering and scientific understanding. As the project neared completion, a young engineer named Raj Patel made a startling discovery. The alien plans, he explained to a room full of wide-eyed scientists and government officials, they're not just for communication. If we modify the design slightly, we could create a propulsion system. We could build a ship capable of reaching the meeting point. The revelation sparked a heated debate. Some argued that humanity wasn't ready for such a leap, that they should proceed cautiously and continue communicating from Earth. Others, including Dr. Chen, saw it as an unprecedented opportunity. "We've been given a chance to join a galactic community," she argued passionately. "If we don't seize this moment, we may never get another." In the end, the decision was made. Earth would build its first interstellar ship, christened the Prometheus, and send a delegation to meet their cosmic neighbors. The construction of the Prometheus was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Engineers and scientists from around the world worked around the clock, overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. The ship took shape in Earth's orbit, a sleek vessel that embodied humanity's hopes and dreams. As the launch date approached, the crew was selected. Dr. Chen, as the one who had deciphered the alien message, was an obvious choice. Raj Patel, whose insight had made the journey possible, was named chief engineer. The rest of the crew represented a cross-section of Earth's best and brightest, scientists, diplomats, and explorers from every corner of the globe. On the day of the launch, billions watched with bated breath as the Prometheus prepared to depart. Captain Elena Rodriguez, a veteran astronaut with nerves of steel, addressed the world from the ship's bridge. "People of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "today we take our first steps into a larger universe. We go not just as representatives of our individual nations, but as ambassadors for all of humanity. Whatever we find out there, know that we carry with us the hopes, dreams, and spirit of every person on our beautiful blue planet." With a flash of energy, the Prometheus vanished from Earth's orbit, leaving behind a world forever changed by the knowledge that they were no longer alone. The journey to the rendezvous point was mercifully short, thanks to the alien propulsion technology. As they approached, the crew of the Prometheus found themselves face to face with a sight that defied imagination: a massive space station, its architecture unlike anything humans had ever conceived. "My God," Dr. Chen breathed, pressing her face against the viewport. "It's beautiful." As they drew closer, a transmission came through their newly constructed communication array. The voice that filled the bridge was melodious, almost musical, yet unmistakably alien. "Welcome, children of Earth," it said. "We are the Galactic Cooperative, and we have been waiting a very long time to meet you." The docking procedure was tense, each member of the crew acutely aware of the monumental nature of what they were about to do. As the airlock cycled and the doors began to open, Captain Rodriguez squared her shoulders. "Remember your training," she said to her crew. "We're making history today." The beings that greeted them were as diverse as they were awe-inspiring. Some were vaguely humanoid, others defied easy description, but all regarded the humans with what seemed to be genuine warmth and curiosity. A tall, willowy being with iridescent skin stepped forward. "I am Zara Vex, ambassador of the Galactic Cooperative. On behalf of the 100 species that make up our alliance, I bid you welcome." Dr. Chen, designated as humanity's chief diplomat for this encounter, stepped forward. "Thank you, Ambassador Zara Vex. I am Dr. Samantha Chen, and we come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge." As the formal greetings were exchanged, Raj couldn't help but notice the technology around them. It was leagues beyond anything humanity had achieved, yet he could see the underlying principles, the logic behind the designs. It filled him with both excitement and a touch of anxiety. The humans were led to a vast chamber, its walls displaying real-time images of countless worlds and star systems. It was here that Zara Vex began to explain the true nature of their invitation. "Your world stands at a crossroads," the alien ambassador said, its voice tinged with both hope and concern. "You have progressed remarkably quickly, achieving in millennia what takes most species eons. But with that rapid advancement comes great risk." Captain Rodriguez frowned. "What kind of risk?" Zara Vex waved a slender hand, and the images on the walls changed, showing scenes of devastation, worlds consumed by fire, civilizations torn apart by war, entire star systems dark and lifeless. "The Great Filter," the ambassador explained. "A challenge that every spacefaring civilization must face. Some overcome it and join us among the stars. Others, the images spoke for themselves." Dr. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "And Earth, where do we stand in relation to this Great Filter?" Zara Vex's expression was unreadable, but its voice was gentle. "You stand on the precipice, Dr. Chen. Your next steps will determine not just the fate of your world, but potentially the balance of the entire galaxy." As the gravity of the situation sank in, the crew of the Prometheus exchanged worried glances. They had come seeking friendship and knowledge, but found themselves faced with a cosmic test that would determine the very future of humanity. Raj, his mind racing with the implications of what they'd learned, spoke up. "You said we've progressed quickly. Does that mean we have an advantage in facing this challenge?" Zara Vex turned its luminous eyes towards him. "Your species possesses a unique combination of traits: adaptability, creativity, and an indomitable spirit. These may indeed serve you well, but they may also be your downfall if not tempered with wisdom." As the initial shock wore off, the human delegation began to ask more pointed questions. They learned that the Great Filter took different forms for different species, sometimes environmental disasters, other times technological catastrophes or societal collapse. But for each, it represented an existential threat that required a species to transcend its limitations or face extinction. "We cannot face this challenge for you," Zara Vex explained. "The Galactic Cooperative has strict non-interference policies when it comes to the Great Filter. Each species must find its own path." Captain Rodriguez, ever practical, asked, "Then why contact us at all? Why not let us face this challenge in ignorance?" The alien ambassador's form shimmered, a sign of what the humans were beginning to recognize as emotion. "Because, Captain, your world holds great potential. And because sometimes knowing that you are not alone in the universe can provide the inspiration needed to overcome even the greatest obstacles. As their first day among the stars drew to a close, the crew of the Prometheus found themselves grappling with the weight of their newfound knowledge. They had come seeking answers, only to find themselves faced with the greatest question humanity had ever encountered. Dr. Chen, looking out at the star-filled expanse beyond the station, felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "We have to warn Earth," she said softly. "They need to know what's at stake." Raj nodded, his mind already racing with ideas. "And we need to prepare. Whatever this great filter is, we'll face it head-on." Captain Rodriguez placed a hand on each of their shoulders. "Together," she said firmly, "we'll face it together." As they prepared to return to the Prometheus for the night, rHFY left them with one final thought. "Remember, children of Earth, the very qualities that brought you to the stars may be the key to your salvation. Your curiosity, your creativity, your unyielding spirit, these are rare gifts in the cosmos. Use them wisely." The human delegation boarded their ship, their minds swirling with all they had learned. As the Prometheus disengaged from the alien station, they caught one last glimpse of the vast structure against the backdrop of countless stars. Earth awaited their return, blissfully unaware of the cosmic challenge that lay ahead. But as they began their journey home, the crew of humanity's first interstellar ship felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had been given a chance, perhaps humanity's only chance, to prove their worth among the stars. The pale blue dot that was their home grew larger in their view screen, no longer just a fragile oasis, but a world of untapped potential. And as they prepared to share their discoveries with a waiting planet, each member of the crew silently vowed to do whatever it took to ensure that humanity would not just survive the great filter, but emerge from it stronger than ever. The future of Earth, and perhaps the galaxy itself, hung in the balance. But for the first time in history, humanity faced that future with the knowledge that they were not alone in the vast, wondrous, and perilous expanse of the cosmos. Part 2. The Crucible. The return of the Prometheus sparked a global transformation unlike anything in human history. As news of the Galactic Cooperative and the looming challenge of the Great Filter spread, Earth's nations set aside their differences with unprecedented speed. The United Earth Council was formed, a governing body tasked with preparing humanity for its cosmic trial. Dr. Samantha Chen found herself at the center of this whirlwind of change. As Earth's foremost expert on alien communication, she worked tirelessly to establish regular contact with the Galactic Cooperative, gleaning what information she could about the nature of the Great Filter. "It's not just one thing," she explained to the UEC in a tense briefing. "The filter is different for every species. It could be an external threat, an internal conflict, or even a test of our very nature as sentient beings." Raj Patel, now heading Earth's advanced propulsion research, interjected, "Whatever it is, we need to be ready. I propose we accelerate our space exploration and colonization efforts. We can't keep all our eggs in one basket." The Council agreed, and Project Diaspora was born. Utilizing the alien technology reverse-engineered from the Prometheus, humanity began to reach out into the solar system. Colonies were established on the Moon and Mars, while mining operations in the asteroid belt fueled further expansion. But as humanity spread its wings, the first signs of the Great Filter began to manifest. It started with strange anomalies in the fabric of space-time near the outer edges of the solar system. Probes sent to investigate disappeared without a trace. Then came the dreams, vivid, shared visions that haunted people across the globe, showing glimpses of otherworldly landscapes and incomprehensible entities. Dr. Chen, analyzing the phenomenon with a team of Earth's top scientists, made a chilling discovery. "These aren't just dreams," she announced to a stunned UEC. "They're leaks. Cracks in the universe itself. Something is trying to break through." As if in response to her words, the sky above Earth's major cities shimmered and tore. Massive, crystalline structures began to phase into existence, defying the laws of physics as humanity understood them. Panic gripped the world. Religious fanatics declared it the end times. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was all an elaborate hoax. But for those in the know, the truth was far more terrifying. The Great Filter had arrived, and it was unlike anything they could have imagined. The crystalline structures, soon dubbed nexus points, seemed to be gateways to other dimensions. Strange energies poured from them, warping reality in their vicinity. Plants mutated, animals behaved erratically, and people reported experiencing time differently near the structures. Worse, the nexus points seemed to be spreading. Each day, more appeared across the globe and throughout the solar system. Earth's fledgling colonies found themselves isolated as space travel became increasingly dangerous. In desperation, the UEC reached out to the Galactic Cooperative for help. The response they received was not encouraging. "We cannot intervene directly," Zarevek's message stated. "This is your species' trial. But know this, the nexus points are a rare manifestation of the Great Filter. They represent both great danger and great opportunity. How you choose to face this challenge will determine your fate." With alien assistance off the table, humanity was forced to confront the crisis on their own terms. The UEC established the Nexus Response Team, NRT, a global task force dedicated to studying and containing the phenomenon. Raj Patel, whose work on propulsion systems had unexpectedly prepared him for dealing with space-time anomalies, was named head of the NRT's research division. "We need to understand these things," he argued in a briefing. "If we can figure out how they work, maybe we can find a way to close them or even control them." Dr. Chen, leading the communication efforts, made a startling discovery. The strange energies emanating from the nexus points seemed to resonate with certain patterns of human brainwaves. With practice, some individuals could actually influence the behavior of the crystalline structures through sheer force of will. This revelation led to the formation of the Psychic Corps, a group of specially trained individuals who could interact with the nexus points on a deeper level. They became humanity's first line of defense against the encroaching chaos. But for every breakthrough, new challenges arose. The nexus points began to spawn bizarre creatures, reality-warping entities that defied classification. Some were mindless beasts, while others displayed frightening intelligence. The Psychic Corps found themselves not just studying the nexus points, but actively fighting to keep Earth safe from extra-dimensional invaders. As the crisis deepened, society began to fracture. Some saw the nexus points as a divine gift, a chance for humanity to transcend its limitations. Cults formed around the structures, their members seeking to embrace the chaos. Others called for the complete destruction of the nexus points, willing to sacrifice the potential benefits to ensure Earth's safety. In the midst of this turmoil, a new threat emerged. A group calling themselves the Voidborn appeared, humans who had been changed by prolonged exposure to nexus energy. They possessed incredible powers, but many had lost touch with their humanity in the process. The leader of the Voidborn, a woman known only as Eclipse, broadcast a chilling message across the globe. "Humanity as you know it is obsolete. The nexus points are gateways to our true potential. Embrace the change, or be left behind in a dying reality." As the Voidborn began to actively sabotage efforts to contain the nexus points, Earth found itself fighting a war. On two fronts, one against the ever-growing instability of the nexus points and the other against the Voidborn, an enigmatic faction determined to reshape reality itself. The nexus points, scattered across the globe, were mysterious rifts that seemed to bend the very fabric of time and space. Scientists once believed they were anomalies, but now they understood that these gateways held the key to an evolutionary leap, or total destruction. The Voidborn, with their advanced knowledge of the nexus points, had begun to manipulate these rifts, turning them into weapons. Their technology allowed them to harness the chaotic energy within, creating devastating gravitational storms and unleashing temporal distortions that wreaked havoc on Earth's infrastructure. Cities began to crumble under the weight of reality itself unraveling, and humanity was pushed to its breaking point. On the front lines, Earth's military forces struggled to contain the nexus points with experimental stabilizers, but with each void-born attack, their efforts were set back. Chaos spread as civilians were caught in the crossfire, and entire regions became uninhabitable due to the spatial anomalies. The nexus points, once a potential path to enlightenment, had become a battleground for survival. But not everyone saw the nexus points as purely destructive. A growing faction within Earth's population believed the Voidborn were right, that humanity's future lay in embracing the Nexus and evolving beyond their current form. These Nexus cultists, as they came to be known, actively sabotaged government efforts, hoping to accelerate the collapse of reality and force a mass awakening. In the midst of this, the Global Alliance formed a covert task force known as the Vanguard, led by some of humanity's brightest minds and fiercest warriors. Their mission was to not only defend Earth, but to find a way to master the Nexus points before the Voidborn could twist them to their will. As the war raged on, Earth's greatest minds worked tirelessly, hoping to unlock the true potential of the Nexus points. Some believed the Nexus held the secret to transcending physical reality, while others feared it would lead to humanity's undoing. Every day, the line between ally and enemy blurred as the very fabric of existence began to fray. Time was running out, and soon, Earth would have to make a choice: embrace the Nexus and its infinite possibilities, or fight to preserve the world they knew. Either way, the future would never be the same. The war with the Voidborn intensified as Nexus points continued to destabilize the planet. The Vanguard, humanity's elite task force, scrambled to stay ahead of the Voidborn's ever-evolving tactics. Each new encounter revealed more of the Voidborn's eerie mastery over the Nexus points. They could appear and disappear in the blink of an eye, seemingly manipulating time itself. Their ability to open rifts and unleash waves of chaos energy made them nearly impossible to predict, and the Vanguard's forces were stretched to their limits. Meanwhile, the cultists who worshipped the Nexus points grew bolder. They began to infiltrate key cities, spreading their message of transformation and urging others to reject Earth's government and embrace the power of the Nexus. Acts of sabotage became common, as cultists disabled stabilization devices, allowing Nexus points to spiral out of control. Chaos reigned as these unstable rifts caused bizarre and catastrophic events: gravity distortions that tore buildings apart, time loops that trapped entire districts in endless cycles, and spatial tears that swallowed entire neighborhoods into oblivion. Despite the growing anarchy, some among Earth's scientists began to believe the cultists might not be entirely wrong. Deep within secret research facilities, a small group of researchers proposed that the Nexus points could indeed unlock the next phase of human evolution. They theorized that by fully merging with the Nexus, humanity could transcend physical limitations and become beings of pure energy, capable of traversing time and space at will. This controversial idea caused division within the Vanguard. Some argued that they should explore this possibility and find a way to harness the Nexus for the betterment of humanity. Others believed the Voidborn's manipulations had already proven the Nexus too dangerous to tamper with. If they failed to contain the rifts, the very fabric of reality could collapse, destroying not just Earth, but the entire universe. As the Vanguard debated their next move, the Voidborn escalated their attacks. They began targeting critical infrastructure, including power grids and military installations, further destabilizing Earth's already fragile society. In response, the Global Alliance initiated a full-scale mobilization, committing every available resource to defeating the Voidborn and containing the Nexus points. But it was becoming clear that brute force alone wouldn't be enough. The Nexus points were beyond any known technology or science. If they were to survive, humanity needed something more, an understanding of the Nexus that only the Voidborn seemed to possess. The war was reaching a tipping point. The Nexus points continued to grow in power, and Earth's forces were being pushed to their breaking point. Time was running out, and soon humanity would have to decide. Would they continue fighting for a world on the brink of collapse, Or would they embrace the Nexus and take the leap into the unknown? That choice, it seemed, would determine the fate of not only Earth, but of reality itself. With each passing day, the Nexus points grew more unstable, and the Voidborn's grip on Earth's reality tightened. The Vanguard's forces were stretched thin, battling not only the relentless assaults of the Voidborn, but also the growing internal divisions. The world had split into factions, those who believed in resisting the Nexus at all costs, and those who saw the Nexus as a pathway to salvation, advocating for a complete surrender to its cosmic potential. As chaos spread, the Global Alliance had no choice but to institute martial law. Cities became fortresses, with military checkpoints and constant surveillance. Citizens lived in fear, unsure of whether they would fall victim to Voidborn attacks, Nexus distortions, or their own government's increasing authoritarian control. The air crackled with tension, and the skies were often punctuated by the eerie, shimmering light of the Nexus points, their presence a constant reminder of the growing crisis. Amid the disorder, Dr. Elysia Wren, one of the lead scientists secretly researching the Nexus, made a groundbreaking discovery. Using data from the Vanguard's encounters with the Voidborn, she unlocked the secret to their manipulation of the Nexus. They were not just merging with it, they had become part of it. The Voidborn were once human themselves, an ancient offshoot of humanity that had discovered the Nexus eons ago and evolved into higher dimensional beings, no longer bound by the limitations of the physical world. This revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It confirmed the deepest fears of the Vanguard leadership. The Nexus was not just a doorway to evolution, but also a path to losing one's humanity entirely. But for some, this knowledge only strengthened their resolve. If the Voidborn could master the Nexus, why couldn't they? Perhaps, they argued, this was humanity's true destiny, to ascend, just as their distant ancestors had. Meanwhile, the Vanguard Command authorized a risky plan to strike at the heart of the Voidborn's power. Intelligence reports indicated that the Voidborn were using a massive nexus point at the center of Antarctica as their primary stronghold, a rift so powerful it connected to multiple realities. The goal was simple: destroy the nexus before it fully destabilized and consumed Earth. The mission was codenamed Operation Breakpoint, and it would be the Vanguard's most dangerous yet. A strike team, led by Commander Elias Graves, one of the most decorated officers in the Vanguard, was assembled to infiltrate the Antarctic Nexus and plant a series of specialized explosive charges designed to collapse the rift from the inside. As the strike team embarked on their mission, Earth's defenses braced for the Voidborn's retaliation. It was clear they would not let such a bold move go unanswered. Within hours, Voidborn forces began appearing in greater numbers, their tactics even more aggressive and unpredictable. Across the globe, major cities fell under siege, and Earth's armies fought desperately to hold the line. In the Antarctic, Graves and his team fought through waves of Voidborn, using every resource at their disposal to push deeper into the Nexus. As they reached the heart of the rift, they were confronted by a chilling sight. The Nexus was not just a swirling vortex of energy, it was alive. Pulsing with cosmic power, it seemed to sense their presence, twisting and warping reality around them as if trying to communicate. Despite the overwhelming odds, Graves and his team managed to plant the charges, but just as they were about to activate them, the Voidborn leader appeared, a towering otherworldly figure who radiated pure energy. The Voidborn leader spoke not with words, but directly into their minds. "You cannot destroy what you do not understand," it intoned. "We are what you will become. Embrace the Nexus, or be consumed by your own fear." For a moment, Graves hesitated. The power of the Nexus was overwhelming, its potential limitless. Was this truly the future of humanity, or a death sentence? He glanced at his team, each of them battered, exhausted, but still determined to finish the mission. They had come too far, lost too much to turn back now. With a steely resolve, Graves gave the command. The charges detonated, and in an instant, the Nexus point collapsed in on itself, dragging the Voidborn leader and its forces into the void. The strike team barely escaped, pulled out just before the entire area was consumed by the imploding rift. The mission was a success, but at a devastating cost. The collapse of the Antarctic Nexus sent shockwaves across the planet, causing Nexus points worldwide to flare uncontrollably. Earth had been saved from immediate destruction, but the damage was done. The planet was now irrevocably altered by the presence of the Nexus points, and humanity's future was more uncertain than ever. As the dust settled, one thing was clear: the war was far from over. The Nexus had only just begun to reveal its true power, and humanity would need to decide: would they continue fighting for survival in a shattered reality, or would they embrace the Nexus and risk becoming something entirely new?